Yeah, everything's just so expensive. I don't know, I feel like I'm underpaid. Man, it is expensive out here. Between fuel, the price of consumables going up. I don't know, it's getting a little crazy, and I'm starting to think $100 an hour isn't enough. Well, today we're gonna find out if it is enough. Let's see what kind of profit I'm really making per hour. Filling this thing used to cost me about 25, 30 bucks. Well, these days it's cost me about $40, $45 just to fill the welder. And one tank of fuel usually lasts me about a full day. Since I've added the compressor on, I feel like I'm saving a little bit of fuel because this thing really sips fuel as compared to my welder. But this thing here is just about $20 to fill. But of course, we cannot forget the truck. This bad boy used to cost me about $100 to fill. And believe me, I go through both tanks per day driving around where I go. Now, these days, it's more like $200-ish, $180 to fill both tanks in this truck. And this truck holds about almost 40 gallons of fuel in it. It is super expensive to run this truck these days. Not to mention oil changes, maintenance, and everything else that goes with owning this thing. Let's not forget the oxygen acetylene, huh? This stuff's gone up in price too. I think I was paying about $20 per bottle for oxygen and about $30 to $35 per bottle of acetylene. But these days, it's about double that. In here, the aisle of consumables. These are consumables. I mean, even gloves are consumables. I don't know what kind of time I'm gonna get out of these bad boys. I just got these from Black Stallion not too long ago. But I know the old GM 1611s, I would get about, 3 months to 6 months out of, depending on where I was at and what I was doing. I consider the welding helmet a consumable. I really only get like a year to 3 years out of a welding helmet, depending on the brand. It seems like Hobart lasts me the longest, and the 3350 Lincoln lasted me the shortest. Yeah, that's right, the $300 Lincoln welding helmet. So I think I got a year out of the Lincoln, and I've gotten almost 2 years out of this particular Hobart. So, you can see why I'll keep buying Hobart. Of course, you have your grinder consumable, your cutoff wheels, your flat discs, all this stuff. All this stuff comes along for that $100 an hour that you're charging. And of course, your filters. If you're wearing a respirator, as you should be, your filters. These are about $20 a pop to replace these, and I get usually about a month or two out of them before I have to replace them. Of course, your face shield screens, maybe a month if you're lucky. And then the shield itself doesn't last forever. I've gone through about 2 of these in the last year. So, you got to account for all that. And then, of course, you couldn't be a mobile welder without Welding Rod, could you? So, Welding Rod has gone up a little bit in price. It's not been extreme, but it has gone up a little bit. Wire's gone up a little bit. Your butt connectors, you're going to burn through these eventually. Not all the time, but you're going to start burning through them at some point. That's all consumables. And then, of course, if you're doing carbon arc gouging, your gouging rods, it's all consumables. These are all consumables. This is all money that you're putting into your customer's project or into your job or your work or whatever you're doing that is not going into your pocket. And that's not even accounting for the cost of buying new equipment. Yeah, $100 an hour, that's so much money. It's really not, guys, okay? It's really not that much money at all. Now, let's go sit down and figure out exactly how much money we're putting in our pocket. We're going to factor in a rough fuel estimate, a rough consumable estimate, insurance, everything that goes into this business, and just try to figure out really how much is Anthony of that $100 an hour putting into his pocket. All right, guys, just do a little math work and figure out exactly what's going on here. Whoops. Oh. Okay. All right. Got a nice clean page here. First, we have to consider the welder itself. Let's add up all the fuel. The truck, the compressor. Okay. So per day, I would say this is about $40 currently. The truck per day is about $200 currently, and the compressor is about $20 currently per day. That's if I'm working a full, 10 or 12 hour day, and I'm welding and using the compressor and using the truck with the crane the whole day. You want to figure worst case scenario. So right there, just in fuels, you're at $260 per day. Okay. And then now your consumables. We got your oxy, your acetylene, your cutoffs / grinding discs. And we're going to do like kind of a per day price. I'm going to assume that I probably use, it's really not much. I probably use maybe, if I'm going to be cutting a lot all day, I probably use anywhere, I would say $5 a day in oxy, and probably the same in acetylene. I don't use much. And then in cutoff wheels and grinding deals, I probably use $10 per day. It's not too much. This is not a big expense. Other than that, you got your gloves, you got your PPE / PPE, and we'll just kind of consider your jacket, your respirator, your face shields, your, obviously anything that's going to protect you, we're going to fall that under. And I think we can safely say we're burning up about $5 a day worth of PPE. Not too much. You really don't go through that too often, but you do go through it, so it needs to be accounted for as far as an expense. And of course you have your welding rod. Now welding rod, depending on the job, I would say I burn anywhere between $20 and $40 a day worth of rod at the moment. So let's just say worst case scenario, let's say it's $40 a day in rod. Okay. So we got all those line items. Let's add them up. So that's 20, 25, 65. So $65. Okay. Per day. You have insurance for the truck and for your business. So we'll say the truck, this is per month, and we'll break this down in a per day price. And then the business itself. Okay, so for the truck, it's like $250-ish with the coverage I have. With the business per month, it's like $200-ish. Okay, so you got, that's per month. So you got $450 per month. Okay, and then to figure this out per day, obviously, we'll just go ahead and we'll divide it by 30, and that's how we'll get that. We'll do that at the end there. We have to pay tax. Tax is going to be, you want to estimate it at this size of, at least my size of business, I estimated it about 30% of whatever of profit. So we'll deduct this at the very end. We'll deduct the tax at the very end. Wear and tear plus tear on equipment. Okay, so this, in the last month, I've spent roughly $3,000 just on equipment on the truck. Just repairing the truck, repairing the equipment on the truck, the welder needed a new battery, stuff like that. So this is just this past month, and this is a rather high month for me. I usually don't have months that are this expensive, but the truck's been in the mechanic twice this month so far. So we're gonna go super high on this one, $3,000, and we'll divide that again by 30 days. So that's an easy one. I can figure that one out real quick. That's $100 per day. And this is $15 per day. And now this is just to run the business. This isn't your personal stuff. This doesn't deduct those personal life items that you have to pay in order to be in business. But anyway, this is just the basics of it. So what we have here is we got 260. Let's start adding this up here. So we got 260, 65, 15, 100. So this is just the per day expense if I'm out for a 10 to 12 hour welding day. Okay, so let's add this up real quick. So that's 360. This is 80. So 360 plus 80 is 440. Yep. Okay.
So $440 is what it cost me for a 10 to 12 hour welding day, roughly. This is just to go out and do it, okay? So now let's say we made it, let's say we made it the high end. We made that 12 hour at $100 an hour, so that's $1,200. Okay, we're gonna minus the 440. Alrighty, so 760, not bad, right? Okay, well, wrong, because now you have to deduct minus your 30%. You're the old Uncle Sam getting his fucking piece like he's the mob. All right, so let's deduct that 30%, and I can't do that in my head, so I'm gonna have to do that off camera real quick. All right, so 30% of this is $228. So now we have 760 minus 228. And this is what you're really gonna put in your pocket at the end of the day. All right, so it comes out to $532. And that's if you didn't get a piece of metal in your eye, which would cost you $300 at the eye doctor. If you didn't almost cut your finger off, which could be $1,000 easy. So yeah, we really don't make that great of money. $532 a day. Definitely not writing mom any fucking letters about how great my money-making day was at work.
So there you have it, kids. There's the skinny on this whole mobile welding extravaganza. You might be lucky to make $500 a day, and that isn't including if you need a new truck or if you need a new piece of equipment or all the other money out of that money that you profit you're going to throw back into the business in order to improve your service. So yeah, kids, it's an expensive endeavor. You don't make that much money, but it is fun. I do have a hell of a lot of fun. I probably made more money doing bouncy castles, but you want to talk about misery. Anyway, guys, I'm Melton Metal Anthony. I hope this helps you out. If not, well, I don't know.